actually going to hear from my congressman. He represents me. And it's an interesting thing because he covers so much territory. He not only represents me, but he represents my mother way down in Harlem. Oh. So we're talking like Congressman, that's why he covers so much ground. So we're going to hear now from my congressman, Congressman Adriano Espaillat.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Rachel is a great leader, and we love working with her. Thank you all for being here today. This is a beautiful day today. It was cloudy and raining this afternoon, but now the sun is out. And I want to thank all the candidates that are here. All of them. Each and every one of you. Of course, our speaker, who's a candidate for controller. Fernando Cabrera, who's a candidate for board president. Natalia Fernandez, candidate for board president. Sean Abreu is candidate for District 7 in Manhattan. Carmen de la Rosa, a candidate for District 10 in Manhattan. Oh, Vanessa Gibson, who's a candidate for borough president. Sammy Robelo, who's there. Okay. And Pierina Sanchez, who's a Sammy's for Bronx borough president. And Pierina Sanchez, who's a candidate for Chairman Fernando Cabrera's district. So thank you all for being here. So I got that out of the way. Congressman. Let me know if I can help at all. All right. Not in any specific order either. Okay? Very good. But anyway, thank you for being here and supporting Oswald. Let's be frank and honest. No one thought he could do it. No one believed that he could do it. You know, he didn't have the organized fiscal support, money support that most candidates need and require to win an election. In fact, it was kind of like an underdog. The kind of candidates that I like to support. The scrappy ones. The ones that work very late at night in the quiet of the night while others wave at the crowds from a platform. He is the type of man, a soft-spoken lawyer, young lawyer, who I think connects with people when he meets them. And so he quietly went out there while others pounded their chests to promote what they had, and he connected with the voters, with each and every one of the voters. And I know firsthand, because I know that each and every one, and I mean each and every one of the voters that I met on election day told me, yeah, I know that young man, he knocked on my door. So those of you that are running for office, and I listed your names, I want to make sure that you go through 3 pairs of shoes and you lose 20 pounds. And if you're not doing that right now, you should really dig deep inside of your heart and see whether or not you're doing the job that you need to do to get elected. But he is a great addition to this district. First of all, he's an attorney and a housing attorney and someone that will defend tenants in court. Right. And you need to know the law to be in court and defend a tenant. One of the reasons why the city council passed a piece of legislation to allow civil legal services, meaning for tenants to have a lawyer, is because landlords have the advantage. They have very high-priced attorneys that defend them, and when a tenant goes into court without an attorney, it's like going to a fight with your hand tied behind your back. And so Oswald will provide that fight. And he is someone that's unbought, uncensored. He will tell the judge what the judge needs to hear on behalf of the tenants. Secondly, he comes from humble beginnings, from a working class families, and he knows what the public school system can do for somebody. He teaches now part-time at Ostos Community College. And so he came from the public school system, went to law school, became a lawyer, and rather than go to Wall Street, made lots of money. I'm not saying that you should not do that. He chose to serve his district, and he chose to defend those that needed the most, the tenants, like his parents were tenants, like Pierina's parents were tenants. Now, I also want to add that, as the speaker said, he's going to be the youngest member of the city council. Now, I'm supporting 4 young stars because I believe it is contradictory for us to talk down and bad about young people and say you don't participate. If you don't vote, shut up and go home. You cannot change the system unless you vote. And then when they try to run for office, we try to beat them down. Absolutely wrong. They're having me a full-time ally. And if someone young wants to run against me next time around, well, let it be. I think I will beat them, but let it be. That's what democracy is about. I've had about 23 primaries in the last 25 years of my political life. And so I'm not afraid of losing 20 pounds. I think I need that right now. And 3 pairs of shoes. And so I'm here to support Oswald Feliz because he is humble, honest. Let me say it again. He is honest, from humble beginnings, a soft-spoken attorney that will defend his people the right way. And we put them where they need to be, at the first priority. And I'm here to say that just like he did it last time, I predict that he will do it again. Now, some people may think he's the underdog right now. I beg to differ, but I want him to be the underdog. I want people to continue to feel he's the underdog. Your presence here today speaks volumes. I think he will do great things for this district. Right now we're sitting on the 13th Congressional District as well. And Richie Torres represents the 15th District, which is right across Grand Concourse, going further east. And to tell you that we have a great representative in Oswald. I know him. Sometimes he seems a little bit shy for me, but I understand.
He is tough.
I understand because there's toughness in shyness. In fact, I knew a young boy who sat in the back of the classroom and was very shy, wouldn't speak up because he didn't know the language, and people in the neighborhood maybe thought he wasn't going to be able to make it because he was shy. And he came from a small town in the Dominican Republic. And being in New York City, you know, this great city of ours is so overwhelming. And people often misunderstood him or underestimated him. But that young man, I knew intimately because he became a member of Congress. That young man was me. And so, yes, I'm here to support Oswald Feliz. Estoy aquí para apoyarlo porque es un joven preparado, es un joven auténtico, honesto, callado, sencillo, pero con su corazón en el sitio donde tiene que estar, que es principalmente en ayudar a los más necesitados. Y por eso yo estoy aquí con él hoy para decirle que ganó ayer y va a ganar mañana. Y estamos aquí en un día como hoy para felicitar su juramentación. We're here to support his swearing in. And with that, Mr. Speaker, with that, I have the privilege to introduce to you another young man who I think is made a mark for himself in the city of New York as your council member here and did great work. Also, very talented, prepared, honest, well-spoken, maybe not as shy as Oswald, but a little shy sometimes. And I think there's a connection there. And I think that he's done a great job, and I think that he's also going to do a tremendous job in the U.S. Congress. Él va a hacer un gran trabajo en el Congreso de los Estados Unidos, and it's a privilege, I think, for Oswald and for all of us to have him now also in the U.S. Congress representing the 15th District, which he will do with distinction, which has been in the opinion of many, the poorest district in the country. But we shouldn't say that with pride. That should bother us deep inside. It should not be a slogan or a statement to make to gain sympathy. We have to change that. We entrusted to change that in any which way we can. And I pledge to be his ally in changing that reality, to make sure that in the future he doesn't say this is the poorest district in the nation, but he says, I represent the district that's growing the faster on the economic line. I represent the district where the young people are doing better academically. I represent the district where the small businesses are thriving. I represent the district as one of the safest in the city of New York. I give you your Congress member, Richie Torres.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with everyone. You know, as first of all, one of the people to whom I'm indebted is my former speaker, Corey Johnson. Keep him close because he is the most talented public servant of his generation. But as the speaker said, you know, Council District 15 is the baby seat of the New York City Council. In 2001, Joel Rivera was elected at age 21. I was elected at age 25. I'm still 25. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that the future of New York City politics has a name: Oswald Feliz. But it also includes Sean Abreu, Marina Sanchez, Carmen de la Rosa, although Carmen is an established elected official. I'm a big fan of Carmen. You know, none of us succeed alone. You know, Oswald has raw talent, I have raw talent, but talent can only bring you so far. We're only as strong as the structure of support around us. And Oswald would not be here were it not for the unconditional love of his family and friends. He would not be here were it not for the generosity and guidance of his political mentor, Adriano Espaillat. So this moment belongs just as much to them as it does to you. Now, I will say one more thing about Congressman Adriano Espaillat. You know, a true public servant not only thinks about the next election, but thinks about the next generation. And I'm not clear that I know of an elected official in New York City who has done more to cultivate the next generation of young Latino leadership than my friend, my fellow congressman, a trailblazer in his own right, Congressman Adriano Espaillat. So I want to thank you for building a legacy for the good of New York City. Now, Oswald represents the greatest council district in New York City. I apologize for offending Vanessa Gibson, Fernando Cabrera, and Yadanis Rodriguez. But we are home. And Corey Johnson. Although you're the speaker, so you indirectly represent us. You know, our district represents great institutions like the Botanical Gardens and the Bronx Zoo, Fordham University and St. Barnabas, the Bronx Library Center, Fordham Road, Arthur Avenue, Little Italy. But even more impressive than the institutions are the people of the Central Bronx. You know, it's a vicious lie to refer to Council District 15 as one of the poorest council districts in the city, because there's nothing poor about the people of the Bronx. Right? This is the essential council district of New York City. Right? You represent a council district that's home to the essential workers, many of whom are women of color, wise Latinas, who put their lives on the lines during the peak of the pandemic so that the rest of us could safely shelter in place. Representing those essential workers, giving them a fighting chance at a decent and dignified life, I tell you, is going to be the greatest honor of your life. Now, for those of you who reside in Council District 15, I'm here to tell you, as your former council member, that you are in good hands. Because Councilmember Oswald Feliz is going to be a visible and vocal fighter for the people of the Bronx. With him as your council member, you will see his face, you will hear his voice, but above all, you will feel his heart. And I'm convinced he won his council street because people felt his heart, because he knocked on doors, and the voters met him and felt his heart and said, I see myself. I see my children and grandchildren in Oswald Feliz. And he is going to fight for us because he's one of us. And not only is he a son of the Bronx, but he is both an educator and a housing attorney. And I ask you a simple question: who better to defend your child's right to a quality education than an educator like Oswald Feliz? Right? Who better to defend your right to remain secure in your own home, to be protected from displacement, than a housing attorney like Oswald Feliz? He is going to fight for you. Now, Congressman Adriano Espaillat said that he's a bit shy. I will say, when I first met Oswald, he is strikingly soft-spoken. But never mistake the softness of his voice or the politeness of his personality for a lack of toughness. Because it takes toughness to do what he did. He won a city council race that very few people thought he could win. He won a city council race with virtually no institutional support. He overcame the odds. But overcoming the odds is what we do in the county of the Bronx. Right? The story of the Bronx is a story of struggle. It's a story of overcoming. It is the story of Oswald Feliz. And so I'm proud not only to call him my successor and my friend, I am proudest to call him my council member. And my promise to each and every one of you is I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that you succeed. Because your success is my success. And our success is everyone else's. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the future of New York City, the guy who makes me look old, your council member, Oswald Feliz.
Thank you so much, Congressman. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Oswald Feliz. I'm a lifelong Bronxite. I grew up just 5 minutes away from here, Kingsbridge Road and Valentine Avenue. I'm an educator, I'm a tenant lawyer, and I'm also the proud council member of this district, the 15th Council District. I've dedicated my entire life to building a better Bronx. As an educator, I taught reading and writing to struggling students at Hostels Community College. As a tenant lawyer, I defended our most vulnerable residents at risk of eviction and also landlord harassment. And as a tenant lawyer, I could have stopped there, but then I decided to run for city council, and I got elected. I ran for city council because I knew that a better Bronx was possible. I knew that we could create a Bronx where every child is able to get a quality education, an education that will truly prepare them for the future, regardless of their income, race, gender, and everything else. I ran for city council because I knew that our families deserve safe and affordable housing so that they could be stable. No one should have to work more than one full-time job to pay rent. And I also ran for city council because I knew we need to bring opportunity to the Bronx. The Bronx, home to so many immigrants that come from all over the country and search for opportunity. They deserve opportunity. So I want to thank everybody that helped me get here today. I'm going to take a few minutes to thank everybody. Number one, thank you to my family. Thank you to my mom, who's right over there.
Oh, yeah! Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you, Mom. Also, thank you to my fiance, Linda. I think she's Linda. Linda, thank you so much for always being there for me. You know, thank you for supporting me, and thank you for being the best partner that I could ask for. Also, like it was mentioned earlier, thank you to my mentor, Congressman Adriano Espaillat. Thank you for being a mentor, and also thank you for believing in my campaign when so many people didn't believe in it. Thank you, and I'll always remember that, and I'll always be grateful. Also, thank you to Assemblymember Victor Pichardo, right over here. Victor has also been a mentor. He and I actually worked at the New York State Senate before he got elected to the State Assembly. And I saw from a very young age that young kids like the Bronx, like myself, could make it, just like Assemblymember Victor Pichardo did. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also, thank you for our great Assemblywoman, Carmen de la Rosa, for also believing in my campaign. And also, thank you to our great councilman of Washington Heights, Adriano Espaillat. I also want to thank Team Feliz. Thank you to my great campaign manager, Fiona Reeds. Where are you, Fiona? Thank you to Theon and also the rest of my team who worked day and night, worked during the heat, during the cold, when it was raining and snowing, to make sure that we took our message directly to the voters and speak to them about how much hope and how we could all fight to make sure that the best days of the Bronx are ahead. So thank you, Team Feliz, for making this possible. This is your victory tonight. And I also want to thank the voters and the residents of the 15th Council District. This was an extremely competitive race, as it was mentioned repeatedly earlier. This was an extremely competitive race, probably one of the most competitive in the entire city. So I want to thank the voters of the 15th Council District for believing in me, for supporting me, and also electing me as your next councilman. Thank you. Thank you for electing me as a councilman. I could never thank you enough. And also, for the next few months, I'm going to be working with all the elected officials here, including our great city council speaker, my good friend Corey Johnson. We're going to be working around the clock to build that better Bronx that I promised to the people of the 15th Council District. I'm going to be bringing money to rebuild our parks so that our families can have a safe, stable place where they and their children can enjoy and relax and exercise and etc. I'm going to be bringing funds to rebuild our schools, our playgrounds, so that our children could have a safe place where they could play with joy. I'm going to be bringing funds to rebuild NYCHA, to make sure that our NYCHA residents, vulnerable residents, get the security they need, the proper lighting, and the proper repairs that they deserve. And I'll be working around the clock to fight to build a ladder of opportunity for every person in the 15th Council District, and also fighting day and night to bring the resources that they need so they could climb that ladder of opportunity. So again, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. And again, thank you to everybody that made today possible. And last but not least, thank you to the voters of the 15th Council District for electing me as your next council member. Again, I'm going to be fighting day and night with all my colleagues to make sure that the best days of the Bronx are ahead. So thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
On this momentous occasion, we're all so very proud of the dedication Councilman Feliz has demonstrated by his quest for elected public office. Councilman, your electoral victory is a statement to our Bronx community that you will be a promise keeper as we all have been shuffled through this pandemic, and that you will respect the principles that you are about to promise to uphold. As we re-emerge, we look to Councilman Feliz to be our promise keeper and great community leader who continues to bring harmony, health, and prosperity to our Bronx community. Councilman, are you ready for me to administer the oath of office to you?
I am.
Please place your right hand on the Bible. Your right hand on the Bible. Raise your left hand and repeat after me. Do we have two mics so you can hear him at all or no?
I'll scream it up.
You'll have to project.
Okay. I'll project.
Don't be shy.
I state your name,
I, Oswald Feliz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the New York City Charter,
and the New York City Charter,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
the City Council,
the City Council,
15th District of the Bronx,
15th District of the Bronx,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pride and pleasure to present to you for the first time New York City Council member, the Honorable Oswald Feliz.
Yeah!
The first Dominican-born elected to the City Council in Bronx County. Let's send him some love. Let's send him some love. God bless you. Thank you.